Hey guys, so today I'm going to be talking about kind of a weirder stock here. Usually I talk about stocks that have a lot of volume and are on the up and up here. However, today I just kind of want to talk about one that could be a hidden gem here, and that is Cheesecake Factory. Now, over the last week, they've had a huge run up here. They're up around $3, and one of the main reasons why I actually like to look at this company is because I like to eat at their restaurant a lot. So that's basically the reason why I've been looking at their company. I know a lot of people who, for Father's Day, which did happen over this last quarantine, they did go to Cheesecake Factory. And when I went there to pick up my dad's order, which we were going to have a meal as a family, the place was absolutely packed. So I feel like they're having a lot of people still eat there, regardless of quarantine restrictions and regardless of other stuff that maybe has been affecting this industry, the food industry, for a very long time here, and especially since people have had to be at home only. So, one of the main reasons also why I was looking at their stock is you can see that their earnings has been decreasing. They were an extremely consistent company in the past year. In the last five earnings reports before the economic downturn, they basically hit exactly on what was estimated, and they were doing pretty good, around 80 cents per share. So that's pretty positive in general, but now you can see that in the last two quarters, quarter one of 2020 and the quarter two, they've been much below and have actually had some negative earnings per share, which is obviously not ideal for any company. And as a result, they've been having a lot of trouble kind of coming up to their pre economic downturn prices here with a low of around 15. Now, they're double that price right now, around 30. However, I would still argue that it is a great time to buy in. You can see that before the economic downturn, they were worth around $40. So I would say $30 is the most they can recover without any type of positive news towards reopening, etc., etc. However, we've seen a lot of companies here continue to push higher even without good news, and especially companies that are known to be a proven success, such as Cheesecake Factory, which you've seen their earnings are very positive in the last five quarters before the economic downturn here. So I kind of have a lot of faith that right now might be their breaking out moment because of the fact that they are returning to this critical point here where they weren't able to break in the past. Now, around the $30 mark, you can see here that 2 or 3 months ago, June 8th, and not right now, it's September the 1st, they were about to break the $30 mark and then sold off very, very heavily, almost to their low of around $15. So at that point, you probably would have seen this and thought, okay, this company is not really doing too well. They're retesting their lows. However, you can see that they've now had a slow and steady recovery and they're sitting around this $30 level again. So it's going to be a critical time for the stock to kind of decide whether or not this level can be supported, whether or not they will be able to break this level and come back as a resistance, or if we're going to be seeing another long period of selling off, such as how we saw between June and September. So one of the main things that I kind of want to look at here is how has it reacted differently to the last time we were around this $30 range. And you can see that the last time we hit $30, the stock sold off extremely heavily, and differently to how it's happening now, the stock is kind of bouncing and even looking to retest this $30 after coming down to 29.50 at close yesterday. So a lot of this is due to the stock market just continuously trending higher and higher. And a lot of it is due with people kind of knowing that this is a solid company and knowing that this could be a long-term potential to continue in the upwards direction here. So it's mostly why I'm taking a look at it. I'm not really holding this stock for one day bounces for $10 in a day. It won't happen with a stock like Cheesecake. However, you can see that in a week they did gain over $3. So if you do have the options, you can catch a strong move here. $7 in the last month, $10 in the last three. So they are on an upwards direction. And with stocks that are on an upwards direction, it's always going to be more beneficial to bet with the stock than against it. So that's why I think that right now might be the moment for Cheesecake to break out. As always, I do technical analysis here. So I was kind of looking for their bottom price, like I said, around 19, which is where they sold off to after this huge bounce. And then they came down to the 19 here. So I would say this is a pretty solid price for them to bounce off from, and a very good resistance price where they can't break below. Obviously, they have been below at the 15. However, this was way before a lot of things were established in the market. And now that we have a lot of inflation, gold, other things going up, people know that these stocks will never return to this price. So obviously, it's not going to be returning to $15 anytime soon here. and now we're looking at the reality of a stock worth 30, and we kind of have to decide what will be happening into the future here. So one of the main things that I'm starting to look at is where the breakout point was for Cheesecake here. Now, you can see that last time they hit 25, they had a pullback, and around this $25 range was when they really started to sell off. A lot of their sell off was kind of smaller here in the beginning, and they did have a bounce back to the 25. However, you can see that immediately after they just sold off heavily. So I feel like that 25 is going to be a good range where you can see if the stock is going to be breaking back down below or continuing above. Now, also, like I said, they are at the top of their range here in the last 3 or 5 months. You can see that they haven't gone above this $30 price range. So the fact that we're holding up now for 3 days on such green candles is a very good indication that maybe this is the time for the stock to be rocketing here within the next few days or maybe even in the next week. Now, I always like to do my analysis on the 1 day or the 1 hour, and you can see that on the 1 hour, they've broken this trend. Well, let me go back to the 1 day and show you guys the trend here. So basically, you can see that ever since they've come up out of this little pattern that they were in, they've now started to join this channel where their bottom is around the 20 to 24, and now their top is around the 24 to around the 30. So it's going to be critical to see whether or not they can retest, or whether or not they do retest this 3077 and continue pushing upwards, or whether or not they're going to be heading back in the downwards direction. However, like I said, I think this is the moment where they're going to be breaking out because of the strength of these candles. You can see that they had a very, very good day, respected the pattern here, the channel. However, the very next day, which is today, immediately they broke back up to that $30.66, and you can see that the chart looks pretty good on the 1 day range. This is a lot of strength, and the stock has run twice today, even though there has been moments of a pullback. So that's a very good indication that there are a lot of traders buying into this stock at the moment, and that they could be running within the next few days here. So always, like I said, I like to see if a stock has broken a channel and come back and retested it. And you can see that the last time that they broke this channel, they immediately sold off. So the fact that we're seeing them break, and like I always tell you guys, once a resistance is broken, it will become a support. So you can see that on the 1 hour here, the resistance is broken, and now it looks like they might be trying to find a support here around this channel. So it's a very, very good sign that they could be bouncing in the upwards direction. And this sign is even more clear on the 5 minute here, where you can kind of see that they did have a lot of support at this level and they bounced. However, it was a small bounce, and now the stock is looking to retest. So if today we see the stock go all the way to around 30.70, maybe even 31, then we're going to have a very clear indication of what is going to be happening within the next week. If we see them break back down, then yeah, I would bet on the stock returning to around the $26 range here. If especially we do see a pullback on the SPY or the Dow, then I would be expecting this company to have a small pullback. However, with earnings coming up and everything coming up, I do feel pretty confident that we will be able to break this level and potentially have another moment like this where they will go up incredibly, break a little bit, and then bounce hard. However, don't be discouraged if you do see some kind of a pullback here. This stock will be going up in the next few weeks. This is one of my gem picks, my hidden gem picks, that I honestly wasn't sure if I was going to share or not because of the fact that, well, probably not a lot of people are going to be watching it, but I do feel like you guys might enjoy the opportunity because it will be a very, very good opportunity when this stock does run all the way to 40 or 42, etc., and back to their pre-economic downturn prices here. So just keep a close eye out on what happens with this specific channel, and in the next few days here, next few weeks, especially coming into earnings around a month and a half from now, it will be critical to see whether or not they can have a run up to earnings, or whether we're going to be seeing Cheesecake stock here kind of run back down to the $19 range and potentially test their lows. So as always, guys, keep a close eye out on this stock. There's some great opportunities here in the market. I already talked about a lot of them, so I don't want to redo a video on them. So that's why I'm kind of also focusing on Cheesecake here, but don't sleep on those opportunities that I've talked about in the last week or so. Right now is the time that traders dream of, and with the market moving so good, so volatile, and so often, we're going to be getting a lot more opportunities here in the next few weeks to trade to the upside and to make a huge profit here in the next few days. So just keep a close eye out, guys. As always, don't forget to like and subscribe, and thanks for watching.